That is very true.
I think teams got to start thinking about that a little bit more. Execration are clearly behind in their pick meta.
You have like your Power Ranger stance or whatever. You got your 5 people lined up.
Yeah, you got to make sure whoever's taking that third pick hero has to have an Arcana.
Yeah, like your Legions, your Invokers, stuff like that. Gotta look fancy.
Yeah. Execration gonna start things off with an early smoke out to place wards. Newbee, are they gonna go for a smoke like last time? They actually don't have any smoke.
That's a bit of a surprise.
That is a very big surprise, seeing as everyone likes to be able to run
Is
out
anyone
and smoke
pulling
contest.
money? No, no one's pulling money. Because sometimes they'll like wait a tiny bit and have 190 or some odd gold left, and they'll just buy a smoke after. But
so Lumic is gonna get down some pretty aggressive wards without being detected. This one block away the easy camp pull, which I think was something that nobody really cared about in the previous patch, because neutrals got kind of hurt quite a bit, so
yeah,
supports pulling wasn't as value. But then they actually buffed up specifically the easy camp.
So it was like what, 10%, 15%, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not a huge number, but Dota is...
I mean, wasn't it 20% nerf when they hit neutrals? So it kind of almost rectified that.
Yeah, it's close. It's definitely close, but either way, nowadays it feels like if you're playing these Shadow Shamans and stuff and you're not against a solo offlane, if you can't pull, it just feels bad. Yeah. You know, you're just not really getting anything.
So we're gonna have an Ursa plus some supports, I'm sure, versus a Legion Commander and Sand King. Actually sounds pretty rough considering their supports, and that's why I really like the Legion Commander. You already knew most likely the supports. It was pretty unlikely that a third pick Silencer was gonna turn out to be a surprise core pick, right? So you already knew Silencer, Nyx Assassin as your 2 supports. That sounds weak as hell. So no matter what the core actually was, and then they didn't know yet, Legion Commander is gonna do fine. Even Ursa, who is supposed to be pretty good versus Legion Commander. It's obviously one of the heroes you just can't man fight. When you throw the Sand King down here, this is actually a 1v2 that Nando certainly can't win. You're going to see him run himself away, but he's going to be stalled up by the Burrow Strike, and they're just going to get a lot of damage on him. Not going to kill him, unless they really want to go deep dive. They are going to be able to put some pressure on him. Meanwhile, top lane looks like a block off. Raging Potato brings Faith pretty low. Faith, another shot, but it's finish him off. They're going to start bringing at least one support back down to about here, so he's needed.
And this lane is already really tough. Like, Nando doesn't have a salve on him. He's sitting around half HP. RR is going to do what he can, but realistically, both of these heroes on Newbee have boots. So if he's out of position too, he can get chunked real hard.
Even if this becomes like, say they bring the Nyx Assassin here, I think as Sand King, you could even just start the Caustic Finale creep wave. And they can't really fight you with it.
He does have to hit 2 first, but yeah, it's a definite possibility.
But they're still not doing it. They're keeping Lumic up here at the top lane. I think it's just a Shadow Shaman effect.
Yeah, that's... I think you can't leave that hero in a 1v2. Because Shadow Shaman, who's allowed to get, uncontested pulls, get to 6, control the lane and stuff, that's much worse, I think, of a scenario for maybe the way Execration are thinking about the game, because then you lose your offlane tower so fast, or maybe, he even goes mid, takes your mid tower, that could be even worse.
Right.
So I think that it's still okay that Lumic kind of hangs around, trying to control the rune.
Olina's doing quite well for himself. 15 and 5 compared to the 8 and 3, especially as SCC is going to be kept away from his mid push. He actually just lost out on, I think, a full creep wave just now.
Yeah, but that's the kind of benefit that you get when you're not doing that defensive tri-lane, You contest turns, you force some kind of reaction on the mid player, he loses out a bit. You already have the advantage mid too. So if you have all the supports accounted for, pretty good.
Caustic Finale actually slowing Nando down, so he can't keep chasing KP. Now KP is going to get a lot of damage. They might be able to kill him here. They're going to go for it. He has the Burrow Strike up. He's holding on to it to actually stun up the Ursa. That is a beautiful play. He didn't just mindlessly go, oh, I've been hit by the last Lord. Let me just make sure that we kill the Silencer mid. Holy cow, SCC barely survives. That is a hell play right there. And that's what saved him.
He had a fair fire as well, so yeah, he just put a lot of faith in his teammate. Well, not that teammate.
Yeah.
This is a really rough matchup, though, for Mirana. We were kind of talking about it during the draft, and I think it's one of those picks where you don't really care if you win the lane. You just want the hero for what it offers during the mid-late game stages.
This is going to be diffusively. At least that's how I was thinking about it against Ursa, but
they don't. See, this is the thing, right? Like, a lot of the time when I see mid Mirana, I always just assume that they want to buy Aghanims because it just increases your farming capability so much. And it makes you super tanky because against Lina and Shaker, you kind of want some amount of raw health. But then again, you're playing against Nyx, so if he carapaces you randomly, that can also feel right. So I'm actually just curious as to what path he's going to take.
RR is dead again. The Caustic Finale, people are like, oh, the nerf, it hurt Sand King so hard. I really don't think so. Sand King, the farming Sand King off lane, it's not really a thing. It's mostly support. And the Caustic Finale still has so much value because as a 4 position, you're moving around the jungle a lot. You run into another support, the Caustic Finale allows you to chase that hero. You're infinitely, you can always have that slow 3 seconds after you pick them. Faith is going to be caught top lane. They don't have a stun to finish him, but they do have the enchant totem and the extra movement speed. So Shadow Shaman's slow ass is going to be beat on by Raging Potato. Now, to be able to get the first kill for Execration.
Faith has literally no items. His inventory was completely empty, and he just bought a teleport when he revived, so he'll be coming back to lane with exactly no items.
What? Wow. I mean, I can understand that in some ways. It's like, regen doesn't really matter. It's me getting my boots that matters for survival.
Right.
So it's just surprising. Like, if I was in that position, I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm using my gold. We buy a Tango and a Clarity. Not Faith.
It's because I think he's stacking a lot, so he's not actually killing the creeps. It's more like he's denying the wave when he pulls.
Yeah.
So he's not benefiting from pull camp itself. He's just trying to do it to control.
And I'm sure he hasn't gotten any of the bounty runes either, just because
yeah,
he's facing a dual lane that probably contested every single
one. Limic's just hanging around, even though he's only level 4.
Jeez, these guys are so fast. Look at him. 2-man burrow strike. That's a great setup, especially since Lumic was TPing to turn and fight this. Managed to get away a decent amount. KP is super fast with its phase boots. Nice stun from survive. Damage onto Kaka. He does have that.
He needs to be careful.
Away. Stick finale.
That overwhelming odds is going to do a lot.
It is going to do a lot. Nando's barely going to be able to escape 35 HP.
They didn't have any vision. I think if there was a ward down anywhere bottom for Newbee, that KP would have just manned up and killed him. Because that overwhelming odds hits heroes way harder than he used to.
They really got to be careful again testing, especially against this Owl. We saw how the Lita dropped quite low in mid lane, bottom lane engagement, especially during nighttime. Owl can always turn things. Raging Potato is going to have to find a lot of aftershock stuns and the T-piece to survive through this. Okay. Pops the shapeshift, and they actually cancel the TP onto Lina. Mookie comes back for more, trying to play the enchant totem, does manage to stun him, hits Faith to be able to stop the follow-up disable, and now that shapeshift is gone, with the TPs, they might be able to punish this one. Nice stun from Raging Potato, turns, goes for Faith, manages to help pick up that kill, and now RR is here to clean up Mookie. Let's see if he can do enough damage, though, because it's going to be close. He pops the Howl to get the bit extra, and I don't think there's any way for RR, who doesn't even have boots, keep up and finish these heroes off. Meanwhile, mid lane, Kaka has made the rotation over and they pop James with the help of Faith. Both SCC and Kaka got dangerously low, but I didn't really see it, but I'm presuming that how that the Lycan use probably helped out that.
That was really unfortunate for the Shaker. Like, he went in for the kill, I think assuming that the totem was going to one-shot, and it didn't, so he had to throw like an additional auto out, and I think that's why he is dying there. Maybe if, you know, he wants to just buy time, he walks to the left, they could have lived, but there's no guarantee that he would have gotten the kill on the Shadow Shaman either. So a trade, and you know, it's not like Raging Potato's doing bad or anything, he's still level 6. You know, he's got a good amount of CS.
It's actually second highest on his team. Got 3 heroes all kind of neck. First Shaker. Legion Commander all sitting in the 2700 area. Nice stun from Lubick. He is just on a roll here with these impales. Now, they do have the Moonlight Shadow, and that is going to be able to save. In fact, it's probably going to result in a death here on Raging Potato. Is he going to wait for it? He throws down the Echo Slam. No duel from KP. He actually didn't have the mana for it. And Raging Potato was too tanky anyway with the Strength Tread. Missing out on that stun. The arrow also misses. Rage Potato turns around, goes for the Echo Slam stun on a Fate, but it's not enough again! He barely misses out on the kill, misses it entirely, and it results in his death. Lumic is now going to be chased down to the shrine area. The shrine's not up, so Lumic gets the stun onto SDC. KP doesn't have anything, but it looks like just the right clicks from SDC will be enough. Picks up the double kill.
That has to feel so bad.
James? Oh, never mind. Raindrop is there.
That was like, you look at that moment, you're like, man, if I was level 7,
Yeah.
you know, that would have been a kill easily. Maybe he even lives.
He even had the higher damage build with the 1-2-2. And it still wasn't enough.
Well,
Potato's doing a great job, which is barely not enough.
He's creating a ton of space as well. Like it's opening up bottom quite a bit. We saw that KP had to leave bottom, giving Nando a little bit of breathing room. I'd say, even though he has pretty good CS, his lane wasn't really that easy. Kaka gonna find RR here again. Chasing him now.
Sure not. Far. But RR is kind of stuck. He also... Actually, I say also, but Faith is actually racking up them. RR is the one sitting at 400 net worth. Rough times.
That is tough. That's a tough game right there. He does have enough for boots now. He just picks him up. I think at some point, even if you're playing a 5 role, you kind of need to prioritize boots, because then you just, you know, you become this liability and you just keep dying, can't ever really get yourself back in.
Caught Faith. Looks like he was trying to lay down some wards. He gets him behind the tower, but he dies in the process, and I'm sure Execration throw down some sentries, see if they actually aggressive wards. Because he got a lot of them. He got this super aggressive ward, and then they got the ward behind the tower as well. And there's still this leftover one in mid lane. So much vision in the off lane jungle area.
There's a kill lead for Newbee here, but it's not like a 2k net worth lead at 10 minutes isn't really huge. Haven't seen a lot of towers drop yet for either teams. Kaka takes quite a few hits to the face there.
Kaka's just kind of fearless. Trying to do a little bit like sandwiching onto Nando. Maybe with the Lycan it's possible, but considering how much damage they've already taken, it's going to be close. Nando, they're going to go for him now. Managed to get the duel before the enrage. The 3-man stun helps out a lot, but it's still not enough to save Nando or the duel. KP wins it. Lumic is going to go for a spike in the face. Team out. Smart play. Newbee are still going to kill the core, and they're still going to take the tower.
Shackle on top lane into an arrow maybe?
Yeah, Rage Potato. He is tanky as hell, but they do have a regen rune for SEC, which means he has the new job.
So a lot of movement coming in here from both teams. Looks like, once again, though, Newbee seeming to get just the bigger advantage out of their engagements. They're able to claim the tier 1 safe lane, getting some good chip damage on top. This time, though, Execration will react.
They do manage to kill Kaka in the mid lane. Looks like James putting all that pressure on the tower does manage to kill his thinking. I'm not sure what that was. Did he just TP in?
I guess so. I didn't see it either. I was looking at top lane.
Alright, Rage Potato, they desperately need his Blink Dagger, because I think that's the biggest thing that's lacking right now, is that Newbee have, like, this constant pressure that is always in your face. What Execration desperately need is, like, hard initiation that allows the Ursa to beat on something, because he's just getting kited around in a lot of these fights. In fact, he may just die here. They're looking for the chain stun, just like they got in the bottom lane with the duel. Moonlight Shadow, they're going to be able to get it with the shackles. SEC throws as much damage as they can. Not in a position for an arrow, though. Wouldn't have even been worth it. 0.1 second stun, so leaps away. Stout on.
It's been a really weird kind of phase where Mirana was picked a lot and then she wasn't picked at all, and now she's like kind of coming back again. I know that EG, for example, like to run this hero every now and then, and it's like, I just always am really curious as to, besides just mobility factor and the ability to like arrow somebody, having the Starstorm from Wave Clear, what the real pull is for Mirana. Is it just the Moonlight Shadow? Is that like, is the free quote-unquote smoke why everyone likes that hero so much again?
I think people are kind of realizing that the physical damage of Mirana is kind of back. because the talents are so good for it. I don't think the first talent is so good. Yeah, you just tank up a little bit, but all the other two, 30 attack speed plus 50 damage, and then you get maybe the 100 attack speed, 8 attack speed. Bottom lane, Rage Potato's dead.
He just not get it free.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of reading the same thing, right? It's like as long as we keep this Blink Dagger down, Execration really can't fight us very well. And if they can't fight us, they're going to lose all their towers.
I think a lot of it has to do with the discrepancy and how much the supports can do. Like Shadow Shaman Sand King just sounds and feels a lot better than Nick's Silencer, right?
Especially pre-level 6, because they have not had a fun laning phase.
Silencer just offers so little kill potential. I think they were hoping that the Ursa would kind of circumvent that problem by just being such a strong laner against what they might have assumed was just going to be a Legion, but because they also sent Kaka bottom on the side of Newbee, the lane just was pressured all the time. Like Nando, he's behind net worth right now by almost 1,000 to KP. So normally you pick this hero and you say, ha, lane counter. And then another hero walks to the lane that you maybe are not expecting, or maybe you think you can do better against, and you go, oh wait, okay, this lane actually isn't that good. We're not going to really be able to easily secure Roshan either, because we only really won mid. Top lost. I would say that the amount of like contest that was going on bottom probably means they lost that lane as well.
Yeah.
So it's looking a little bit rough at the moment, but like you said, Raging Potato getting closer to Blink.
Smoke up from Newbee though. Or are they going to head? Start going up to top lane, but I'm sure they're going to go for it. So certain on this since they have the vision there already.
Oh god, yeah, this is like
Full wrap around.
lit up like a Christmas tree.
They're really searching for that Lina. Man. I guess in some ways you're probably thinking about it like we've shut this, like it's important to shut down some stuff. If they can't find the Lina, they'll take Rage Potato.
God,
See if they get the dual damage. Not supposed to work.
That hero has almost 1,700 life with just treads and a wand at level 10.
People vastly underestimate the tankiness of the Earthshaker, and that's why I also love. Oh no, he's not. Wait, okay,
what the heck? He just like rubber banded off the map and back in.
SCC is the rubber band man.
I think normally what happens when you do that is you kind of go off the map and then you come back somewhere else. But he just straight up went straight back to where he was standing before.
Yeah. Really, like he should have ended up in that cubby hole, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Instead, he's just like, nope, leap over these trees.
That was definitely awkward, but wards dropped here and Roche should be pretty easy if you're going to be take this one.
I mean, they just killed the Earthshaker again, they know it. Especially since he was showing in mid. Desperately need that. Desperately need Nando's Blink Dagger too, because they need that 1-2 punch.
God, Kaka has his blink before the Shaker has his. That does not feel good if you're an off-lane player to see a support get a blink before you. Yeah. I mean, they obviously will see it if they check bottom, but you know, Kaka's sitting in Sandstorm now, so who knows if they have the information yet or not. Okay, now they will for sure. He just blinked away.
Shadow Blade for James. How do you read the difference in these Linus builds? When you go Bloodstone first, when you go Yules first, when you go...
I think that you get Bloodstone whenever you're doing well enough in the game to warrant buying the item. But since they're behind, they're just looking for kills more than anything else, and I guess...
We give it that one. Yeah. Duel. Okay. Oh, Echo Slam. Maybe they can actually win this duel. It's going to be close. That ends out. Laguna Blades will manage to get the kill. James hides in the trees, dodges the Starstorm, buys himself a little bit more time. He'll die to the Sacred Arrow. Lumic, oh, a big crit. Almost lost his life there from that one. Meanwhile, Nando picked up his Blink Dagger in the side shop and managed to kill Fate at top lane. So that's a huge turn for Execration. This was looking real dark and gloomy, but their first reveal of the Blink Dagger is on point.
That Echo came in huge. I mean, they lost Alina, sure, but given the advantage that Newbee has at this point in time, it's always beneficial to be able to get fights like that.
Nando is dead.
Yeah, he is.
That is a diffusal blade Maron.
Many, many damage. But as far as the Lina build that we were talking about a bit earlier, I think it's nice when you have Nyx on your team, because you can walk together as two. And if there's no sentry, that hero is 100% dead. Like, Vol Vendetta combo, and then you have the Laguna as well to follow it up. It's a lot of nukes.
How does Newbee respond to that? Now that they know, Blink Dagger's up, they've also seen the Shadow Blade. Do you just group up a bunch?
I think it's probably when you have Book 3, why not? You know, you have Aegis on Mugi, you have Necro 3, you can walk into a tower, pop it. You get the building for more or less free. They're going to find another pickoff. This time it's going to be on S-Triple-C and top. So the Shadow Blade once again coming in for its usefulness.
Nando? What, Nando? What's that? Well, it's got the enrage, so he can survive for a long time, and they do have the global silence as well. So there's the initiation. They managed to kill Kaka. Mugi's in a bad position too. They're going to be able to get the stun, though, at the duel onto Raging Potato. With the help of the Necronomicons, they are going to be able to get that kill, but Mugi's now fast enough to stay ahead of Nando, so he could just throw all of his Necronomicons to the world straight at that bear. And it is going to be Execration losing that fight pretty badly. 2 for 2 trade-off. Well, I guess it's 2 for 1. It was James who got
Yeah, happened a little while ago. Still though, Newbee, once again flexing their muscles. They had everything there. I mean, you drop the wards, you pop the Necro, the tower is pretty much dead at that point.
Yeah.
And they pretty much just global because Nando was a little bit far out and they wanted to try to bail him out of that bad situation and the tower for it. It's tricky playing against Shadow Shaman, I think, when you have Execration's type of lineup, because global doesn't really help if the wards are already down, right? So you need to like kill the Shadow Shaman or something before the wards are dropped to really have that spell be any real use, I think. Or you just global in reaction to seeing a duel. Those are like the 2 best points I can possibly think of to use the ultimate in this game. So maybe the silencer not really working out quite to the effect that they wanted to, but there's still some opportunities, having the Blink Dagger on the Shaker, having the Shadow Blade and the Vendetta combo of the Nyx. They just need to try to buy some time and open up the map a bit.
Lumic. He can lead with the stun that'll follow up with the LSA, and they will kill. Oh, not! Kaka actually stops Laguna Blade, and now they get the dual follow-up, so James is dead, especially with that Blade Mail. Look at the chainsaw on Lumic as well. What a turnaround. Quick reactions for Newbee.
That's a real feels bad. But I mean, they're doing the stuff that I think their team needs to do. So when you make that type of move and you get counter-ganked, you feel bad about it, but the fact of the matter is the decision-making is still correct. Like, you need to go for those plays, because if Newbee are able to walk up to your tower, as they're doing right now, and they drop wards or they pop Necro, you don't really want to engage that anymore. You kind of just want to let it go. You want to push somewhere else, because you're fighting into Newbee's strongest point when they have the siege going.
Are they keeping the ward for Playground?
I think so. It's level 2 wards, so I don't see why not.
They really are.
Yeah, they got the leap attack speed buff, they're dropping the wards. There is Echo and Global up, but Mugi's still got Aegis.
They just killed that tower so quickly. The leaders only just now coming up. The tier 3's gone. Newbee are going to keep going, though, especially with the arrow on the Lumic. Nando makes his initiation on SCC. The global silence is there, but he already had the diffuse blade onto Nando, so he wasn't really able to follow that one. Now going to be stunned up thanks to a Fisher. He will be released and heads to the shrine. Mugi's going to end up dying. That's just the Aegis, though. Good epicenter there from Kaka. Gets a lot of damage on Execration, even if it doesn't kill anybody. The follow-up looks like might be able to kill Raging Potato. KB actually grabs James instead. That's a bigger kill, and he still managed to get the dual damage out. Raging Potato does manage to get his Echo Slam down, but it's only a little bit of damage. Newbee are so damn tanky. Fortunately, Nando will manage to come in and pick up at least 1 kill. That's on Kaka, but Newbee, the rest of them, all 3 of the cores, they managed to run themselves away after taking that mid lane of Rax.
Brutal,
Huge
savage, ranked.
The momentum that Newbee have gotten in the last 10 minutes is just crazy. They just keep getting the better engagements. I mean, their team, like we talk about, when you get the concave, and what I mean by that is, if you're sitting around the tower as 5 heroes and you have time to set up with a Shadow Shaman, have, you know, Kaka sitting in the back on his Sand King, if Newbee gets to that point, Execration just simply cannot contest them anymore. They don't have the heroes. So what they do is they take Lumic, they take James, they walk out on the map, they try to find a kill. And unfortunately, when they did that, even though that's what their team is supposed to be doing, they got picked. And then once the pick happens, you're fighting a 3v5 into Newbee's strongest point. You know, it's just getting more and more difficult, because now it's a 16k net worth lead in a 22-minute game. That is crazy.
Newbee are up by so much, and there really isn't too many comeback mechanisms for Execration.
It's just
They
gotta
just gotta
be
win a fight.
Yeah, it's gotta be a good fight. That's what their team does best. Because it's not as if Newbee don't have pickoff potential. That's one of the great things about Legion. Like, look at KP's items. He's got Shadow Blade, Blink, Blade Mail. This is the trifecta of anyone who shows on the map that doesn't have a Linken's is just dead.
He's got a lot of dual damage too.
Yeah.
So even just his right click.
It's one of the reasons why I think that Legion is super strong, because if someone picks like this greedy support like a Silencer who doesn't really offer a ton of like lane influence, you just get such an easy lane, and then you get your items quickly, you get a little bit of dual damage, and then you're threatening, like, what other off lanes can just solo kill cores on command besides like an Axe? And I would say that Axe's laning phase in some situations can even be weaker than Legion's. So
Did you say Aghanims on Shadow Jump?
oh, yeah, as an Aghanims? What the heck?
I was just clicked over and I was like, oh wow, that's a huge item.
That is, yeah, that's insane.
And it's gonna be super tough for Execration to defend.
Like
Aghanims Wars, there's the duel onto James again. He keeps on fighting that initiation. They are gonna be able to kill KP though. This time around, James will survive, even if their tier 3 does not. Here comes the epicenter though. Oh, Kaka actually stopped it. He blinks a little bit too early. Arrow nails Nando, giving Newbee the time to be able to take that full lane. Still sticking around, thinking maybe they can fight, but yeah, it's greedy. Greedy, greedy Newbee. Take the lane, be happy. Run back and farm some more.
They're at a commanding lead at this point in time. There's not really a whole heck of a lot that Execration can do besides go for a smoke and pray. But this is the other part that kind of hurts Execration, is because they have Alina for wave clear, and I guess Shaker like can kind of kill creeps, but they don't have anything that's constantly applying that pressure. Arrow gonna land there on James, but no detection. We'll see. Well, they do have a tier 2 in the top lane, so it'll be a little while before Newbee can really land the final blow.
Oh, a leap there from SEC. Nando actually catches him inside the pit, but there's all the stuns coming out from Newbee. They're going to be able to kill Kaka, so 1-for-1 trade up, but obviously much more big for Newbee, and a duel onto James. Makes it that much worse for Execration.
Newbee looking to be on good form today so far.
Man, that kill on Nando was worth 279 gold. Oh, they go for the Echo Slam here on Moogie, but they just don't have enough damage. Not even close. Tries to throw out the Fissure, but Faith is there to be able to stop them, and they're just going to run over these heroes. James is back already, but can't actually have a whole lot of influence without his Laguna Blades, so Newbee are still going to be able to fight, chase away Execration, take that tier 2. See if they push for more.
They got more words, yeah. This is just so hard.
Makes his jump in, but not before KP makes his own jump once again on James. He just can't deal with it, and he calls it. He calls it GG. He knows that fight's already over, but I'm sure a lot of that is frustration. Well, KP just had his number every single time, and especially once he got that Blink Blade Mail, it was just all over James every time.
I don't know, I look at this game and I think the Silencer was a really cool idea. I want to say that Execration picked it third, and I did not feel it at all. I think what they wanted was these kind of 2 heroes roaming around the map, finding picks, you know, use global when you see duel come out and stuff like that, and on paper it all sounds great, but man, their bottom lane didn't go well. Raging Potato died a ton in the off lane. Like, he was just getting focus fired by Newbee this game, just getting caught out all over the map. His blink was so late that by the time he got it, it just didn't really feel like it was enough. And even though James had a great lane, you know, he did very well against SCCC mid. It's just too much weight. Like, you can't do it all on your own. You need some kind of cohesion and to win some actual fights. And it just felt like in first and second game that Newbee were just, they were outclassing them in fighting, maneuverability, almost every single thing. I think that Newbee just did better.
Yep, Newbee seemed to be on a whole nother level compared to Execration, at least in this series. We'll follow more of Execration. We're actually going to be covering one of their games, the very last series of the day versus IG, so hopefully they have a better plan of attack. But for now, we're going to get out of this series and go to TNC versus Team Empire.